We have just the authority here to begin the discussion. Hi, Amber. I'm here with Cheryl from Foodstar, and she's raised some wandering worker issues. I know you're the right person to help out.
Thanks, Brittany. Hi, Cheryl. Happy to help. Brittany's provided me some background on Foodstar's plans, and it sounds like you might be thinking about permanent remote work arrangements. Is that correct?
Yes. Given all the productivity software out there in the market and how much people have grown accustomed to Zoom meetings, it seems like moving to a fully or mostly remote environment should be easy. Could you give me your top 2 or 3 issues to consider from a compliance standpoint?
Well, although your workforce may already be largely remote, there are significant issues to consider with respect to long-term remote work arrangements, particularly if the employees are working remotely outside of your home state of Massachusetts. First, there's the obvious, various tax implications. Depending on state law, an employer could be required to pay income taxes to state 1 on behalf of an employee, but withhold payroll taxes to state 2 on behalf of that same employee. For example, Massachusetts, where Foodstar is based, takes the position that if the employer is based in Massachusetts, Massachusetts income taxes must be withheld. However, other states take a different position, and there's just no clear answer which state would prevail. Second, there's wage and hour concerns. Wage and hour law is based on location, location, location. States and even some cities have differing minimum wages for hourly employees and minimum salaries for exempt employees, which are implicated when an employee is no longer working in the same location where they were initially hired. For example, administratively exempt employees in New York City must have a much higher minimum salary than in Massachusetts. Moreover, New York has meal break requirements that just don't exist in Massachusetts. Timekeeping becomes a challenge and legal risk for hourly employees because there's no on-site supervisor to ensure that non-exempt employees are not working off the clock, not working overtime, or not working through their meal periods. And finally, there's leave of absence issues. Foodstar is based in Massachusetts, which provides paid family and medical leave to employees who quote-unquote work in Massachusetts. But so do states like New Jersey, which covers employees who quote-unquote work in New Jersey. Both programs are funded by employee payroll deductions, and if you have a remote employee working half their time in New Jersey and half in Massachusetts, which program do you fund? And which leave law governs? Again, it's a complicated answer. And we can't forget about legally mandated paid sick leave. If Foodstar offers and caps accrual of paid sick leave at 40 hours per year in compliance with Massachusetts law, that's not enough under, say, New York's paid sick leave law, or in various cities in California or Minnesota. All these programs would have to be re-examined and adjusted for state and local compliance.
Well, that's certainly more complicated than I expected. I'll have our legal team call to follow up with you.
Cheryl, given that Foodstar is thinking about implementing permanent remote work, have you considered how Foodstar will maintain employee data and account for employee privacy?
That's actually an issue we are working through. My team has surfaced several viewpoints, but we want to strike the right balance between employee privacy and having the ability to manage productivity effectively. We're also running into similar issues with our truck fleet. Our drivers don't want Big Brother watching them, but from a safety standpoint, the industry trend is increased monitoring.
Let's reach out to Zoe Argento. She's a privacy expert who's given considerable thought to these issues. Hi, Zoe. I'm on with Cheryl Walsh from Foodstar. She has a few questions she'd like you to consider.
Hi, Zoe. Foodstar is considering increased employee monitoring and is concerned about privacy. We have a large fleet of delivery drivers that we would like to make more efficient and nimble, as well as reduce vehicle accidents, tickets, and wear and tear. What are your high-level thoughts on monitoring drivers?
I think monitoring can be quite helpful. There are privacy risks, but we can walk through how to manage those risks. I've spoken with a lot of companies that have installed sensors on the vehicle, often a dash cam as well as cameras on the back of the vehicle. These devices may record audio and video, as well as GPS location and telematics. That's recording sudden stops and turns. So I'll talk about 3 points here: collection, data management, and rollout. The first point from a legal perspective is data collected. What data will the company collect? So depending on the type of data collected, the company might have to provide notice to employees or obtain consent for collecting that information. And I can certainly help you with these types of forms. Also, in some cases, surveillance